The silence that permeates the opening frames of HBO's 2023 masterpiece, The Last of Us, is not merely the absence of noise but the heavy, suffocating presence of a world that has forgotten the sound of its own heartbeat. Adapted from the landmark Naughty Dog video game, this television odyssey transcends the weary tropes of the post-apocalyptic genre to deliver a searing, intimate portrait of human wreckage and the desperate, often violent, rebirth of hope. It begins not with a bang, but with a televised warning from the 1960s, a chillingly prophetic conversation about fungi, not viruses, being the true existential threat to mankind. This cold open sets a cerebral tone, shifting the focus from the mindless gore of traditional zombie cinema to a biological inevitability that feels terrifyingly grounded. When the outbreak finally hits in 2003, we witness the collapse of civilization through the eyes of Joel Miller, a man whose soul is effectively cauterized the moment his daughter, Sarah, dies in his arms. This prologue is the foundation of everything that follows, a traumatic anchor that defines Joel's transition into the hardened, morally gray survivor we meet 20 years later in the ruins of Boston. The narrative engine of the series is the uneasy, evolving bond between Joel, played with a weary, tectonic gravity by Pedro Pascal, and Ellie, a 14-year-old girl portrayed by Bella Ramsey with a fierce, foul-mouthed vulnerability that is nothing short of revelatory. Ellie is the miracle the world stopped praying for. She is immune to the Cordyceps infection that has turned the majority of humanity into fungal, clicking nightmares. Joel is tasked by the desperate resistance group known as the Fireflies to smuggle her across the desolate expanse of the former United States to a research facility out west. What begins as a transactional delivery of cargo slowly mutates into a profound father-daughter dynamic, the one built on the jagged edges of shared trauma and the constant threat of extinction. The chemistry between Pascal and Ramsey is the show's greatest special effect, capturing the subtle shift from Joel's emotional detachment to a protective ferocity that eventually consumes his moral compass. As they trek across the overgrown, skeletal remains of American cities, the show meticulously explores the different ways humanity has attempted to reorganize itself in the wake of total collapse. We see the authoritarian stagnation of the Fedra-controlled quarantine zones, where order is maintained through the hangman's noose and the rationing of hope. We see the chaotic, vengeful uprising in Kansas City, where the line between liberator and oppressor vanishes in a cloud of dust and gunfire. Yet, amidst this macro-level societal decay, the series finds its most resonant power in the micro-stories of individuals trying to reclaim their humanity. The third episode, Long, Long Time, stands as a monumental achievement in television history, deviating from the main path to tell the decades-long love story of Bill and Frank. This episode serves as a thematic thesis for the entire series, suggesting that survival is a hollow victory if there is no one left to protect, no beauty to cultivate, and no partner to share the sunset with. It reframes the apocalypse not as a struggle against the infected, but as a struggle to remain capable of love in a world that demands only ruthlessness. The threats Joel and Ellie face are twofold: the grotesque, biological horror of the infected and the far more unpredictable cruelty of fellow survivors. The creature design is hauntingly beautiful and visceral, with the clickers and the massive bloater appearing as tragic, calcified monuments to the natural world reclaiming the human form. However, the true monsters are often those who have kept their human shape but lost their empathy. The encounter with David, a charismatic but predatory leader of a cannibalistic cult, serves as a harrowing rite of passage for Ellie. It is here that she is forced to embrace a level of violence that mirrors Joel's own, a dark mirror that reflects the cost of staying alive. The snow-dusted landscape of this arc provides a stark, cold backdrop to the loss of innocence, proving that the fungal spores are not the only thing capable of rotting the heart from the inside out. The journey culminates in a hospital in Salt Lake City, where the promise of a cure finally comes within reach. It is here that the series reaches its philosophical breaking point, challenging the audience to weigh the value of a single life against the potential salvation of the entire species. When Joel discovers that the surgery required to extract a cure will kill Ellie, he does not hesitate. He descends into the hospital like an unstoppable force of nature, a whirlwind of calculated, terrifying violence, slaughtering the very people who might have saved the world. This is not a heroic rescue in the traditional sense. It is an act of profound selfishness and unconditional love, inextricably linked. Joel chooses his daughter over the world, choosing the intimate over the infinite. The final scene, a quiet, tension-filled walk through the woods where Joel lies to Ellie about what happened, leaves the viewer with a haunting ambiguity. It is a masterpiece of character-driven storytelling that refuses to provide easy answers, instead asking if a world saved through the sacrifice of the innocent is even a world worth saving at all. The Last of Us is bolstered by a haunting, minimalist score by Gustavo Santaolalla, whose Ron Rocco strings provide a melancholic pulse to the vast, empty landscapes. The cinematography captures the duality of the post-apocalypse, the terrifying shadows of underground tunnels and the breathtaking, reclaimed beauty of a world where nature has erased the scars of industry. Every frame is saturated with a sense of history, from the peeling wallpaper of abandoned houses to the rusted car wrecks that line the highways like tombstones. It is a show that understands the weight of objects and the echoes of the lives that once owned them. By the time the credits roll on the final episode, we are left not with a sense of triumph, but with a profound ache for these broken characters. It is a story about the lengths we will go to for the people we love, and the terrifying realization that love, in its purest and most desperate form, can be both the light that guides us and the fire that burns the world to the ground.